welcome to today's show, Microscopic Menace, the growing danger of microplastic pollution. Today, it seems almost impossible to escape the reach of microplastics, tiny fragments of plastic that have found their way into the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food we eat. Since their invention in the late 19th century, synthetic polymers, the fundamental elements of plastic, have brought incredible convenience to our lives. However, this very material, once regarded as a marvel, is now a grave environmental concern. Microplastics have become a significant issue, negatively impacting ecosystems and human health in ways we're just beginning to understand. Microplastics are tiny plastic particles smaller than 5 millimeters, and even smaller ones are called nanoplastics. They are just 1 to 1,000 nanometers across. These fragments come from larger plastic waste that breaks down into small bits that are difficult to detect and impossible to ignore. The term microplastics was coined in the early 2000s, and they come in many shapes and sizes. From tiny bits in personal care products to minuscule shards from broken down plastic, microplastics create a challenging global problem for both the environment and our health. The scale of microplastic pollution is astonishing. These tiny particles have spread everywhere from the highest mountain peaks to the deepest ocean trenches. You can find microplastics in soil, surface waters, coastal sediments, and even in rain and snow. This widespread presence highlights the over-reliance on plastics in our lives and the large buildup of plastic waste. Adding to the problem is that microplastics can remain in the environment for hundreds or thousands of years due to their non-degradable nature. Their constant release continuously adds to the global pollution burden. What's particularly concerning is the detection of microplastics in living organisms, including humans. From tiny plankton to large fish people, marine life is ingesting these species, which can then move up the food chain. Research indicates that microplastics are found in seafood, raising significant health concerns for those who consume it beyond the many other toxins present in it. In addition, microplastics have been detected in drinking water and table salt, thus increasing the risk to human health. In 2022, a surprising discovery revealed microplastic pollution in human blood for the first time. Scientists examined blood samples from 22 healthy adults and found plastic particles in 17 of them. In other words, nearly 80% of those tested had microplastics in their system. This finding calls for continued research and innovative solutions to tackle this issue. While the study involved a small sample size, the late Professor Dick Vettok, an ecotoxicologist at Virgin University, Amsterdam in the Netherlands, who was involved in the investigation, shared his thoughts about the findings, saying, "It is certainly reasonable to be concerned. The particles are there and are transported throughout the body. The big question is, what is happening in our body? When we reach for a fresh apple or prepare vibrant leafy greens for a salad, most of us don't think about the possibility that microplastics could be hiding inside them. Research has discovered microplastic particles in common fruits and vegetables. How is this happening? One source is the plastic packaging produce is transported in. Another source is soil that has been contaminated with these minuscule fragments by plastic mulch films. Furthermore, our agricultural soil is harmed by fertilizers and water sources contaminated with plastic debris, which also increase the microplastic content in our diets. For example, seaweed sludge, which may be used as a fertilizer, can contain microplastics from personal care products and microfibers released from synthetic clothing while in the washing machine. This avenue can transfer plastics into the soil and eventually onto our plates. But it's not just what we consume that's concerning. The air we breathe is also affected. Microplastic particles are now pervasive in indoor and outdoor air, with research showing that indoor environments where we spend most of our time are particularly problematic. In fact, the microplastics in the air around us might pose a greater risk than those in our food, as we constantly inhale them. The majority of microfibers we inhale indoors come from synthetic textile-based household goods and clothing. These particles have been found throughout the lungs, indicating just how deeply they can penetrate. Babies who are especially vulnerable face high exposures not only through their diet and environment, but even before birth via the placenta. While our skin seems to be a reliable barrier against microplastics, our internal defenses might not be as effective, raising questions about the long-term impact of this invisible yet pervasive threat. Recent research suggests that microplastics, tiny remnants of plastic pollution, are not only impacting our environment but also entering our cardiovascular system. Studies have even detected these fragments in atherosclerotic plaques, which can lead to heart attacks and strokes. According to a recent editorial in the journal Nature Medicine published in 2024, people with microplastics in their arterial plaques were found to be 4.5 times more likely to experience severe cardiovascular events. These pieces may trigger inflammation and promote blood clotting, raising important questions about their long-term effects on heart health. Microplastics impact more than just our blood vessels. They may also affect our immune system, our body's natural defense network. When microplastics enter biological fluids, they quickly acquire an organic layer
known as the protein corona or echocorona in aquatic environments.
This coating can attract bacteria and form biofilms. Studies indicate that immune cells identify microplastics mainly through this organic layer. When these cells encounter microplastics, they might engulf them,
which can lead to cell death and trigger a persistent immune response.
This ongoing reaction could result in chronic inflammation, thus potentially worsening conditions like asthma and other inflammatory diseases. Microplastics are not just infiltrating the immune system, they're also making their way into the gastrointestinal tract and possibly beyond. Recent studies have shown that individuals with inflammatory bowel disease, or IBD, have higher concentrations of microplastics in their stools compared to healthy individuals, with these levels closely tied to the severity of the disease. This raises concerns that microplastics
may be aggravating gastrointestinal conditions
or even playing a role in their development. Besides the gastrointestinal tract, cardiovascular system, and immune response, microplastics also pose significant risks to the endocrine system. These tiny particles often carry harmful chemicals such as bisphenol A or BPA, phthalates, and flame retardants, which can disrupt hormonal balance and interfere with normal endocrine function. BPA, commonly used to harden plastics, is an endocrine disruptor that may lead to developmental issues in children and metabolic problems in adults. Phthalates, which make plastics more flexible, have been linked to reproductive issues,
metabolic disorders like obesity.
Flame retardants, meanwhile, can negatively affect hormone regulation
and reproductive health.
While it's unsettling to think about the microplastics we may have already ingested, there are steps we can take to support our body's natural detox processes and minimize potential harm. Staying well hydrated is crucial, as water helps flush out toxins and unwanted substances. A fiber-rich diet, including plenty of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, can aid in moving these particles through the digestive system, reducing the chance of them being retained in the body. Incorporating antioxidant-rich foods such as berries, nuts, and leafy greens can help counteract any oxidative stress caused by these tiny invaders, supporting overall health. Reducing further exposure is equally important. Choosing fresh, unprocessed foods over prepared ones can significantly decrease the likelihood of consuming microplastics. Filtering drinking water adds an extra layer of protection. Improving indoor air quality by regularly cleaning, using air purifiers, and minimizing dust accumulation can also help reduce the number of airborne microplastics we breathe in daily. By making these small adjustments, we can better shield ourselves and our loved ones from the potential health risks posed by this hazard. As we navigate the complexities of modern-day living, let's remember that every step we take toward
Reducing exposure to microplastics contributes to a healthier future for ourselves and the planet.
whether it's making small changes in our diet or creating a cleaner indoor environment, these efforts matter. Wishing everyone health and peace as we continue to learn and grow together in this journey toward a safer, cleaner world.